I'm just wondering if your listeners know how good a football player you were. I can still see you playing that fullback, knocking those players out of the way. Now, I believe I could have run behind you.
Martin, I can remember when we came to summer and you playing fullback up there. And I saw you in the weight room and watched you work out in the weight room. And you could pick up, you were strong enough to pick up the whole weight room. I wanted to take it and I learned that system back. Biggest mistake we ever made.
The Martin Houston Show with national championship winning fullback Martin Houston, giving you 1 hour of intense, hard-hitting analysis from an insider's perspective. It's time for the Martin Houston Show on your home for Alabama sports, Tide 100.9, and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
Good morning. Welcome into the Martin Houston Show on Tide 100.9 on your radio dial. Martin Houston live on Facebook and YouTube, simulcast there, as well as at Martin Houston 35 on Twitter. It is a beautiful Tuesday morning, and we're live and local and ready to get things going. We're talking Iron Bowl. We'll have DC Capstone report coming up. We'll review the game. We'll preview Alabama versus Georgia in the big SEC championship showdown. And we'll dig into that, and we welcome you to get in on the conversation at 205-342-9904, 205-342-9904. The Taco Casa hotline is open for business. If you prefer, you can type in your comments on the chat on the various social media outlets. It is going to be a great conversation, and we look forward to having it with you and yours. Remember this: trust in the Lord always, and be excited about the opportunity you have today, because this is a day that the Lord has made. So rejoice and be glad in it. Take some time today to notice someone, love someone, serve someone. Man, be the difference you want to see in the world today. Talk about being a difference maker. Alabama had a lot of guys who were difference makers on Saturday. A lot of guys for 60 minutes on the defensive side of the ball, but also the offense stepped up at the right time in the right moment. And we would need some of those exact same guys to step up this Saturday if Alabama is going to walk out of the Mercedes-Benz Stadium with a victory. But before we get into that conversation, we're going to save some of that Auburn conversation, unless you call in and want to talk about it. We want to talk a little bit about the craziness that's happening in college football. Didn't talk about the coaching carousel on yesterday. Looks like it's going to get even more interesting as we move throughout the season. But I thought yesterday was shocking when Lincoln Riley had parted ways to go to USC from Oklahoma. And, I don't know what your thoughts are. I think it's a great fit. Before I say anything else, I think that it's a great fit. I think Lincoln Riley will go to USC. I think Lincoln Riley will probably quickly find himself as the one or two dog in that league. But it is amazing to me. I'm not surprised by it, I guess, but he was getting ready to come to the best league in the conference, but he's not had a lot of success against Alabama, Georgia, and the SEC. And maybe he didn't feel like he wanted to be in that league week in and week out. And this was a great out, a great fit, and a great opportunity. But the shocker of the day would be Brian Kelly. Let me make another couple. congratulations to Billy Napier going to Florida. Kind of saw that coming. Looked like that's going to be not going to be. It could potentially be a good fit for them. And then on a local level, Rich Rodriguez dubbed to lead the Jacksonville State Gamecocks into their Division One debut. So I had heard someone tell me yesterday, Joe, that they thought Josh Niblett may be the guy from Hoover to take that job, but Rich Rod, it appears that he's going to be coaching in the state of Alabama after all. Some 15 years later at Jacksonville State. So wish him nothing but the best. But the shocker of the day, Joe, has to be Brian Kelly to LSU. I mean, is this one of the more shocking? Can you think of a more shocking coaching move than Brian Kelly to LSU, especially considering the timing?
Oh no, I mean, I don't know why you do it if you're Brian Kelly. Why you leave your nice cushy job at Notre Dame with your national recruiting base, with your number 6 team in the country, or sitting right there on the playoff, sitting right outside the playoff, waiting for Alabama to lose on Saturday. Well, I don't know why you do it, and then you go to hang out in Nick Saban's backyard. I don't know why you do it. It's very, very dumb to me.
I mean, it's not just Alabama. I mean, if Houston could lose. I mean, Houston could upset Cincy. Baylor could upset OSU. I mean, if you were a number 6 team, this is one of the years that you have as good a chance ever of getting in sitting at number 6. That's number one. But I heard, and I was asleep when I heard, how you have your TV on and you think you're asleep, but you're really not. On ESPN, one of the guys said that one of the reasons he gave for leaving, now I have not heard this directly from his mouth, was because he wanted to play for national titles. So is that insulting Notre Dame? I mean, is he saying, first of all, I think Notre Dame as a program is embarrassed by this move like nobody's business, because you're coaching the number 6 team, and since 2012, you have been in the playoffs 3 times, and he's been in the playoffs 2 of the last 3 years. All right, so he has been to the playoffs. Not playoffs wasn't 2012, but playing for a national title. So he's had 3 opportunities to win titles. 2 of the last 3 years, he has been in there. He's one win from being a lock this year, and still in the last weekend, without having to risk anything, he still may get in the playoffs with the team that beat him. And so you just look at it, and I'm like, oh, wow. So Notre Dame is probably embarrassed by this, like nobody's business, number one. And in the fact that if all of that happens this weekend, supposedly he's not going to be there. He's not going to be there to coach. Flip it to the other side, Joe. Is this a win for? Is this even a win for LSU? I mean, is Brian Kelly the answer at LSU?
It doesn't inspire confidence, in my opinion. It's not doesn't. I mean, yes, he's a playoff appearing coach, and he's taken Notre Dame to. I mean, you talk about Brian Kelly wants to win national championships. He's been in at least one, and he's been in the playoff 2 or 3 other times.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. 2012 he got beat by Alabama. 2012, and then 18 and 20 he was in the playoffs.
It doesn't make sense, especially considering Notre Dame can set basically their own schedule year to year to year. They're not beholden, a little bit to the ACC, but you pretty much have schedule freedom. So you can schedule whoever the heck you want. You don't have to win a conference championship to get into the playoff. It just doesn't make sense.
Yeah, and when you look at this year, think about this, Joe. Notre Dame, you know how they've dogged Oklahoma for not playing anybody when they were undefeated. They said Oklahoma hadn't played anybody. Then OSU had to. It's so weird. Oklahoma had not played anybody, so they were not that good, so they were not ranked high. But then when Oklahoma State beats OSU, then all of a sudden they jump up to number 5. The logic makes no sense. But going into last week, and I don't know what last week's team record was. I didn't look at it, but I saw a graphic that showed Notre Dame's 10 wins this past year, going into week 11. Week 12 with their 10 wins and 1 loss. Their opponents were 52 and 56. They won't ever play. They won't ever. You could play the bottom half of the SEC, the bottom 8 teams, and they're not going to be that bad in the SEC. You see what I'm saying? Like there's never going to be a time where you're going to have 8 SEC schools that are that bad if you add their records up. It's just it's just crazy to think that he did, but maybe he wants to challenge it in his later days. I can't wait to hear him talk about this. But maybe it's money. Maybe he's made some bad money deals. I don't know. But that's the shocker of them all, especially when I heard that it was because he wanted to win national titles. So if he think the path to national title is easier in Baton Rouge, then he believes that Notre Dame doesn't have the ability to recruit. And Notre Dame probably has the biggest national name and access as anyone, but maybe they're standard. Maybe he had it out with the administration. Maybe there's some underlying thing that we don't know about that he wants, that he thinks is the magic chemical. But either way, we'll welcome Brian Kelly to the SEC. And now it becomes interesting, Joe. To me, when moves like that happen, man, you have no idea the domino effect that's going to happen in college football. Because now one of the top jobs, whether they've been winning or not, Notre Dame is still one of those coveted jobs if you're a coach in the college profession. It's a coveted job. So go ahead.
Was Jones coming for that Notre Dame job?
You think it's Butch Jones?
No, I'm just throwing that out. A little bit of small ties to that area.
Yeah.
From Cincinnati, that kind of thing. But that'd be a great redemption story for him.
Yeah, that'd be interesting. It's going to be interesting to see that. I think that they will, if there's a team that can have a conversation with just about any coach in the profession, college and or pros, with a few exceptions, it's Notre Dame, just because of their name and their legacy. We'll see. We'll watch it and we'll talk about it. But now we're going to flip the script back. I'm sure DC will have a few comments on the coaching carousel that is only beginning. From here, we'll see what's going to happen. But we're going to talk some Iron Bowl as well, and we'll talk a little Georgia, Alabama. First time in 92 games that they're not the favorite. Is that a good thing or a bad thing for the Alabama Crimson Tide? We'll talk about that and more right here on your home for Alabama Sports, Tide 100.9. This is the Martin Houston Show.
Tide 100.9 traffic.
From the Townsend Nissan Traffic Center, we got a wreck on 2059 eastbound at exit 86 Covered Bridge Road with delays. Everything else around town looks good, but if you do see conditions, give us a call, 205-886-8886. The month-end clearance is on now at Townsend Nissan. Take advantage of an outstanding selection, great savings, and drive home in style. I'm Captain Ray.
Is finding seasonal help on your wish list? You need Indeed, the all-in-one platform for interviewing, screening, and hiring high-quality people. Visit Indeed.com/credit.
You know what happens in a plasma chamber?
Big stuff. Science stuff.
Diamonds. I'm Tom Osmond. Fincher and Osmond Jewelers carries artisan-created diamonds.
Earth and human safe.
And bigger. Lots bigger.
Fincher and Osmond diamonds from the mines or artisan-created diamonds.
They're all diamonds.
If you want to give her the big stuff, you've got to see these diamonds.
FincherandOsmond.com, a little tricky to find on McFarland Boulevard between Edgar's and Local Roots.
Dell Technologies' biggest business sale of the year has arrived. Step up your vision with top tech up to 50% off during their Cyber Monday event. Dell Technologies recommends Windows 11 Pro for business. Plus, get incredible savings on Windows 11 PCs, along with servers, monitors, and docks, all with free shipping. There's also special financing with Dell Business Credit. Get started by contacting your Dell Technologies advisor today at 877-ASK-DELL. That's 877-ASK-DELL.
Hey folks, BJ Perkins, Executive Manager here at Townsend Nissan. Just wanted to get out the message that Townsend Nissan is having a huge new and pre-owned sale now with a huge selection of new and pre-owned vehicles in stock and ready to roll today. And most of all, your current vehicles at an all-time high. And Townsend Nissan wants it today. And the icing on the cake is finance rates are a record low. Townsend Nissan saves you time and money. So where should you shop for your next vehicle?
Townsend Nissan, your family in the car business.
Tide 100.9 Tuscaloosa weather.
A nice warm up today with a good supply of sunshine, the high 65. For tonight, clear with the low at 41. For tomorrow and Thursday, the sky's sunny both days. The high tomorrow is 69, Thursday's high, and the low 70s at 72. I'm James Spann with the ABC 3340 Weather Center on Tide 100.9. It's 33 degrees in Tuscaloosa.
Scott Smith and Sophomart Design, doing business for 17 plus years, specializing in graphic design services, commercial printing, promotional products, advertising specialties, and so much more. Basically, any and everything you would need to advertise, promote, and grow your business. Through strong partnerships, strong customer service, and creative ideas, they'll help you market and grow your business. Give Scott a call at 205-292-4680 or email scottis@comcast.net and visit them online at southmarkdesign.com. Hello, I'm Martin Houston. And while I get really excited about football season, I love the holiday season even more. Merry Christmas from the Tide 109 family and the Martin Houston Show. Roll Tide.
I can't answer the second part of that question. I think the key to the drill is you got to try to win every play when you're playing games like this, and you got to keep battling for 60 minutes in the game. You hear the old adage, play one play at a time, but I think that's probably more important, in games like this than any games that you play. We've had to do that several times. Does that help us? I really don't know the answer to that. Hopefully our players can stay focused and, play one play at a time and play the next play, whether we had a good play or a bad play, so that we can try to play with the utmost consistency possible in the game and not get frustrated, keep our poise, and, sort of show the same kind of resiliency that we've had to show, this latter part of the season.
That's Coach Nick Saban addressing whether being battle tested through the SEC or not benefits Alabama or not. And I will say a resounding yes, it does. But let's bring in DC Capstone Report and bring him into the conversation. Good morning, DC. How you doing, sir?
Oh, doing great, Martin. How are you this morning?
I'm doing well. Any comments on that audio before we get to a couple callers here?
Oh yeah, I think he's playing a little close to the best there. I think he knows that his team team being battle tested has to be a little bit of an advantage going into a game like this. If you've been behind and you've come back in games like we've done, we played plays that during adversity, during adverse times, and played close games. It gives you an advantage on how to do that again. So I think in this game, I'm not aware that Georgia has been tested yet. So if they get tested, how will they respond? That's going to be a big question in this game.
Yeah, it's not just the players either. It's the coaches as well, I believe, that have to learn to be battle tested. So when you hadn't had to adjust all year to anything other than maybe make a little yelling, hey, you're not playing to the top of your ability, that's a little different than when you have to make some adjustments. Let's bring in Pat. Pat, you're in with DC Capstone Report and Martin Houston Show. What's on your mind, sir?
Good morning, fellas. Good morning, DC. Man, I just wanted to let y'all know that they have got the official name for the Auburn-Alabama game of 2021. It is going to be called the Disaster in the Pasture.
Yeah, I saw Ryan tweet that out yesterday and said a fan gave it to him. So, it's pretty. I don't know if it was who are you naming it for? It wasn't a disaster to me. So I guess it's based on if you're in Auburn.
Disaster for Auburn.
Huh? Yeah, if you're an Auburn fan, that's a good name. Right?
Hey, man, I thought it was wonderful that to show that kind of resilience.
Hey.
And when things wasn't going your way, it's a building to a ball district. You see.
What I saw was several paintings for Daniel Moore: the drive, the catch, the crane. That's what I saw, Pat. I mean, that's all I remember. I don't know about everybody else, but
After watching the faces of the Auburn fans after that last play, I thought it was going to be called Pain on
the Plane. Yeah.
That was, I like when they doing the surrender cobra. Yeah, you saw them doing the surrender cobra many times.
Yeah.
So it was great. But hey, let's just say I want to make Georgia fans cry this weekend. Oh my goodness, do I want to make Georgia fans cry?
Well, we have a chance.
Hey, we in the game. Hey, and that's just like you hadn't got a lottery ticket. You can't win if you hadn't got a ticket.
That's right.
And that's the same thing about that Georgia game. If you're not in it, you can't win it.
Yeah.
And we are. And I'm looking forward to it. And but I think that Coach Saban's got holding a little something back for him. So we'll see.
All right, thanks, Pat.
Hey, y'all have a blessed day and continue doing what you're doing, DC. Great job, buddy.
Appreciate you. All right, let's go to Curtis Lewis. Curtis, you're in with DC Capstone Report and the Martin Houston Show. What's on your mind, sir?
Hey, on that Brian Kelly deal.
Yes, sir.
I thought where, he hadn't told his assistants anything when he took that job, and had one assistant didn't hear about that he was leaving a recruit's house, and he started pop up on his phone. And of course, he didn't have a very good thing to say about it at that point. Matter of fact, he's some expensive words he used, but
one of Kelly's assistants was leaving a recruit's house.
Yeah, we're leaving the recruit's house. When he was getting off the porch, it popped up on his phone that Kelly had taken a job at LSU.
Ooh, wow. That is.
You left in the dark on that deal.
That is so bad. I mean, do you get it? I mean,
I don't understand how you can do that. I understand you're leaving, but I don't understand how you don't tell your coaches and let the coaches you weren't going to take with you. I guess you don't care at that point, but that's kind of a nasty way of doing business.
Yeah.
I can't see why he don't want to go to LSU, though, because a lot of players that you're going to need to win a national championship, you cannot get them into the school at Notre Dame.
Yeah.
The standards are so high, you can't get in there. So maybe that's what he means by he want to play for national championship. Because you're not going to win it with the nuns and the fathers and the priests. You got to get some studs.
But listen, if you get there, I mean, I look at some of the surprising teams that have won it. You know, they used to say that about Clemson, and then and they made some changes. And I get it; it's academically tough and all of that. But I just think that when you get there, you have a chance. And he's been there 3 times. He's had 3 chances, and other than him, name a coach that's had 3 chances to get there.
That didn't win it?
That didn't win it. Yeah. I mean, I don't know if you can name 3 that don't have one. Like, I mean.
Dabo got that 3 times, but he won it 1 time. So
yeah, that's what I'm saying. He's won a couple. So it's just.
When he floats. He got there, but once he got in there, it was like a banana in a monkey cage. He just got stuck.
And I DC, you can come in. I don't know does he? I don't know. Do you think him getting there through Notre Dame? Maybe he's thinking, well, Saban's going to be gone. And I said this. Some coaches going to take that job thinking Saban got a couple more years, then I'm going to be the big dog. Maybe that's what he's thinking. I don't know.
I'm just not sure that he's thought it through about how difficult a job it will be to get there from LSU, simply because the talent that he'll have to go up against is greater than what he's going up against right now at Notre Dame. I think Curtis may be right. When he's thinking about getting there, I have a better chance of winning it.
If I get there.
Because I think he has a less chance of getting there at LSU than he does at Notre Dame, simply because in Notre Dame every year he's going to have to beat Texas A&M, Mississippi State, Alabama. You got to beat everybody in the West in your own division before you get out of there and start playing the other side. And then you play non-conference games. So it's going to be difficult for him to get there, more difficult for him to get there from LSU.
Have you thought about
or to win it once he gets there?
Have you thought about the recruiting that LSU is about to undertake a dramatic change in their recruiting? When Texas and Oklahoma comes into the SEC, and now these kids can go to Oklahoma or stay at Texas. Stay in Texas or go to those 2 schools and still be a part of the SEC. I think LSU's battleground for recruits just is about to get more even tougher than it's been. Even though it's a battle-rich state, recruit-rich state, it's about to get really tough. And I think he's going into a really, really tough situation. But, hey, you know what? Some coaches want a challenge, though. And like you said, maybe he thinks if I can get there 1 time with LSU, if Coach O can get there 1 time, then I can get there. You never know. He may look and say, that dude did it. Then I know I can do it because I know I'm a better coach than him. So,
imagine the culture change that's about to come at LSU. No disciplinarian. The recruiting is going to be a little difficult when you first get to LSU with the culture change that he's going to undertake there. Yeah. It's not going to be easy. It's not going to be a go in and quick win situation. I don't think, in my opinion.
So, but hey, that LSU group that played down the stretch, Curtis, was pretty good. So, if they had played like that all year, Coach Oates still be the coach. So
yeah, but I'm never going to Kelly a little bit too much credit for his aspect of one being to have a challenge. I think he's more motivated by that $12 million a year on a guaranteed contract.
Hey,
he's going to get paid regardless.
Hey, I was trying to think of the, LSU got a lot of money because they're paying Coach O $16. They're playing Coach O $16 million over the next 4 years, and then Kelly's contract. So hey, listen, you're probably right. It was just that maybe he got himself in a financial situation. Curtis, go ahead. I'll let you go, and then we have to get out of here.
All right, yeah, have a good one, fellas.
All right, hey, let's go ahead. Since Robert's been holding for a while, let's go ahead and get Robert on the phone. Make him hold through the break. Robert, you're in with the Martin Houston Show. What's on your mind, sir?
Hey guys.
Hey now.
Yeah, think about the amount of money that Auburn is paying a current coach and a former coach, and LSU is paying the current coach and the former coach. Nick Saban starting to look very underpaid.
It really does, Robert. It really does show you how much money these programs have when they can pay these coaches to win 8 games a year, plus pay former fired coaches at the same time. I mean, you know, and Florida's in the same boat. I mean, Florida's on their second, third coach in 4 years, so it's crazy.
Yeah, Nick Saban's on the low end of the coaching paying scale as far as SEC coaches go. Like Curtis said, I'm sorry, DC.
I was going to say, I agree with you, Robert. Look, think about this. Think about the number of coaches right now that we just heard about that's getting major contracts, major money, and how many of them have won a national championship. And look at Coach Saban's national championship. You talk about a bargain. Alabama's got a great coach for a bargain right now.
Yeah, and we had to pay a former coach. I bet we had to pay a former coach in over 14, 15 years?
That's right.
That's really a deal. Hey, with Brian Kelly, it's about recruiting and about trying to get Notre Dame. And you bring up a good point, Martin. What you think Brian Kelly is saying? He said, hey, if the Ocho can win the championship, and he forgot about Les Miles, too.
Yeah.
If you got to win the championship at LSU, hey, I know I got a shot.
That's
what they're going to be out here for the 3 or 4 years, too.
Yeah.
So, yeah, he's thinking about long-term future, and that money doesn't hurt either.
Yeah, I guess if you're going to go through a rebuilding program, I guess 10, 12 million reasons can help you suffer through a bad year or two if they give it to him.
Yeah, really. Hey, I did hear a listener one comment from the commentators about the Georgia-Alabama game, and they brought up a good point. I guess you brought up this point too, Martin, that, we get mad at Goldie a lot, but the run defense is the second best in college football. That's kind of unnoticed, with all the bust on the offense, the defense giving up big plays on the pass.
Yep.
But the run defense is only second to Georgia.
And that's what I last week, Robert, I said this team, every game somewhere we would bust the coverage. We would just have a busted coverage somewhere. I said, what would it look like if we don't have that and we play the way we played up front? Well, we saw that against Auburn. We had what appeared to be no communication errors, no busted coverages or anything like that. And it looked dominant. We gave up 159 total yards in a 4 overtime game. I don't care how bad the offense is. They had 15 plus possessions. That is 10 yards of possession on average. I don't care who you're playing against. That is a defensive performance that if we didn't have the mentality that our defense wasn't good, we would be applauding that. If our offense had played decent, we'd be talking about that. And DC had communicated with me, we cannot lose what type of defensive performance our defense had because of the way the offense played Saturday.
Most definitely. I think I said that on a podcast this week, is that I don't want anybody to lose the fact that we played a phenomenal game on defense. As a matter of fact, on my podcast, I gave my players of the game to be the entire defense because it was a team defensive effort and a coaching effort. And you can't lose the fact of how good our defense has played this year in other games as well when it stacks up against that. And Alabama has a really good shot against this Georgia team because I don't think Georgia team has been tested by defense, a run defense, like Alabama.
Yeah, right. Statistically, Alabama played Auburn much better than Georgia did. I mean, Georgia didn't give up 159 yards, and much less in regulation.
Yeah.
So only 159 yards. Whereas Alabama did, that's all they gave up. So we keep the thing that scares us, of course, is our offensive line play is so bad right now. And if it improved, we can do it. And for the first time, that the last game made me realize, I think Bryce Young would have made last year's team better than even Mac Jones. I never thought that till then. Because I'm looking at it, like, he would have done everything Mac would have done, and he would have had that little extra elusiveness that Mac didn't have. I'm not so sure that team couldn't have been even better with Bryce Young. Today's Bryce. I'm not so certain anymore.
Well, this year's Bryce Young, I don't know if he would have been as good as that good last year as a true freshman, but this year's Bryce Young definitely would. Bryce Young has played, Robert, with a porous offensive line. I mean, and I think O'Brien is making our offensive line worse than it is because of the way he's calling the games. I think he's really hurting them. He doesn't move the quarterback. He doesn't run draws or screens, and people have figured out that we put our quarterback on a landing spot, and we run a lot of RPOs, which the running back is standing in a stagnant place till the ball is red. So I think that hurts. But he doesn't have, in everybody's opinion, he doesn't have the Najee Harris at running back. He doesn't have the All-American first-round wide receivers. But yet, he still has statistically – he's still having a Heisman season.
Yeah, I don't think Mac Jones would have had a Heisman season, caliber season with this team right now. I'm just saying, I'm curious to hear what DC has to say. I ain't gonna listen.
Thanks, Robert. DC, I'll let you respond to that before we go to break.
Well, I agree with what he's saying. I mean, Bryce Young, as I alluded to last week and this week, he is at times taking this offense over himself and willed it to possessions, to continuing possessions, extending plays, making plays that had to be made with his legs, getting out of the pocket, throwing the ball downfield, always keeping his eyes downfield. Those things are hard to teach anyone. Those are natural instincts that he's got, much like a Russell Wilson, I would say. And so I'm very pleased with Bryce Young's improvement from last year, this year. And if you were to put his skill set this year on last year's team, I think Robert Craig would have been even better than we were last year. And that's taking nothing away from Mac Jones. Mac Jones
absolutely not.
Great quarterback as well.
Absolutely. And like I said, I think that, and we'll talk about this on the other side. DC, we have got to have made adjustments offensively. Have we made those adjustments and we were thinking we were good enough and we're not going to game plan it until we play Georgia? Is that what we've done? Or is this coaching staff just dead set on 5-step drop, 5 to 7-step drop, don't move the pocket, no draws, no screens? We'll talk about that. We'd like to get your opinion, your thoughts on it. Give us a call, 205-342-9904. You're talking with Martin Houston and DC with DC Capstone Report.
Tide 100.9 traffic.
From the Townsend Nissan Traffic Center, we got a wreck on 2059 eastbound at exit 86 Covered Bridge Road with delays. Everything else around town looks good, but if you do see conditions, give us a call, 205-886-8886. The month-end clearance is on now at Townsend Nissan. Take advantage of an outstanding selection, great savings, and drive home in style. I'm Captain Ray.
Hello, this is Martin Houston with the Martin Houston Show, and I want to tell you about one of our great sponsors, Overflow Express Wash. Their mission is to provide great customer service with a showroom clean car and an exceptional customer service experience. They have the basic car wash that starts at $7, but you need to check out the premium wash packages, which start as low as $12 and go up to $20. They also have a membership wash club that you can get for starting at $23.99, going up to $39.99. In other words, just double the regular premium package, drop a penny, and you can be one of the great members of Overflow Express Wash. My family and I keep our cars looking good inside and out by using Overflow Express Wash. They're located on Skyland Boulevard right next door to Alabama 1, or you can find them online at overflowexpresswash.com. Andy Phillips and his team look forward to making you a part of their team.
The holiday hustle has begun. Click, click, click. Buy, buy, buy. But what if you could surprise loved ones with gifts inspired by stories instead of stuff? What do I mean? Well, at QVC and HSN, a pan from the Curtis Stone collection isn't just a pan. It's Curtis's love for his grandma, who taught him to cook. And sure, A Barefoot Dreams cardigan is made of lovely material, but what it's really made of is the Cook family's drive to make the feeling of a hug into something wearable. And wow, wouldn't those be special stories to tell when the people you love open the gifts you put so much love into finding just for them? That's the kind of inspiration you won't find stocked haphazardly on shelves. So, whether you're shopping for mom, dad, girlfriend, teacher, fur baby, or baby, find them a gift with meaning at QVC and HSN. We bring life to products and products to life, and the life you bring to it is the best gift of all. QVC and HSN. This is shopping brought to life.
Nick Saban calls it the process. John Maxwell said that everything rises and falls on it. And Coach Wooden said it's what you learn after you think you know it all that makes the difference. What am I talking about? Leadership and personal development. Is your organization, your school, your church, your family, are they receiving the proper level of leadership development and personal development? If not, the Empowerment Center for Leadership and Mentoring can help you with that. We have our pep talks, which is a 1 to 1.5 hour lunch and learn, which we can customize to meet your needs, or we have some topics that we present that we know can help your organization. And if you're looking for one-on-one mentoring and coaching, we can also assist you with that. Visit peptalks35.com. That's peptalks35.com, or send an email to martin@martinhouston.org. That's the Empowerment Center for Leadership and Mentoring. Hello, I'm Martin Houston, and I'm so excited about this time of the year because it represents not just football, but the season of the birth of our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. On behalf of Harvest Church and the Martin Houston Show, we want to wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, and invite you to join Harvest Church on Sundays at 10 a.m. and Wednesdays at 6 p.m., where we're creating and enabling faithful followers of Christ. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year from the Martin Houston Show and Harvest Church.
Well, I think we got to play more physical. I think we got to be more aggressive in terms of, how we come out of our hips, play with power, whatever it is. We got to try to dictate, when we're in the run game and get moving. We did a better job of that in the second half. And we got to give our players, a good chance with some advantage runs when we do try to run the ball. So pass protection was an issue at times, but, we just got to do a better job of, staying square. Quarterback's got to do a good job in the pocket so that, the O-line knows where he's going to be. So there's a lot of things that, we need to work on when it comes to pressures. We got to have a good plan for how we block them. And, there's a lot of things that I think we're capable of improving. And I have a lot of confidence that the players will go about it the right way to try to get that done this week.
Okay. DC, I'm going to let you respond because my response may be a little negative toward Coach's comments there.
Well, I come at it this way. I understand what he's saying, and I think that if that's what we need to do, why haven't we been doing that all
Well, actually, I guess you're going to say the same thing I was going to say then.
Well, I say that, and I say that because I kind of feel like that's what we should be doing. But here's my point to what you said earlier, Martin. Have we been saving anything for the championship run, for the college playoff or championship run? And I didn't think so, but up until the final fourth quarter of the Auburn game, I thought for sure that when Brian Robinson went out and we were down to Trey Sanders, who quite honestly doesn't have the experience and doesn't have the best blocking protection scheme for pocket passing, I thought for sure we'd see movement outside the pocket, we'd see rollouts, and we'd see screens and draws, but we didn't see that. So if there's ever a time that you're going to use something like that, you need those type of things against the aggressive defense like Georgia. So hopefully we've been saving that package, and we'll see it this Saturday.
Yeah, and he said they need to drive their hips and all of that. It's hard to do that if every run call is an RPO. I mean, I was telling this guy was a former coach. I was telling him yesterday. I said, Bryce Young has the same drop every time. He drops to the same place in the pocket every time. And then when we run the ball, most of our runs, the quarterback running back exchange is in the same spot, DC. So as a defense, I can tell my guys, play with your ears pent back and go to this spot. It's somewhere in a 5 to 7 yard range. That's where the quarterback and or the running back is going to be leaving from every time. Because we don't run it outside, we don't run slants, and we don't move the pocket. And I know yes, our offensive line has some issues, but I think some of those issues have been created by the way we call our games. And I can't I can't change my mind on that till I see something different. When what Auburn did, when they spread that defensive end way out on George and Owens, man, that's a lot of area to cover and block a guy when he knows exactly where the quarterback is, and then he knows exactly when that quarterback steps up. Right? Yeah. And that's what we're asking. That's what we're, go ahead.
I think that's a great comment there, Martin. I hadn't thought about that, but you're exactly correct. But when is the last time that Alabama lined up and ran a running play that the offensive line knew was going to be a running play, either a sweep or a counter or a three-hole play? If you that's when you know how to drive your legs. You're right. When you run the RPOs, you don't know. Different blocking.
Yeah, you can't if you fire off too far and you get a good drive block, you're gonna be 5 yards downfield, and Bryce pulls it. I mean, it's just, and I'm not knocking the 5, 6, 7 yard pass play at that time, but it's supposed to be RPO, run pass option, and a lot of ours is, I think, is pass run option. I think we run in pro, pass run option versus RPO, run pass option. That's the thing there. So DC, when you really quick, because I want to make sure I give you time to talk about the Georgia game. When you look at this, what do you see Alabama as their number? They must do A, B, and C. What do you see there?
Well, I think on defense, Alabama's first got to stop the run. Got to stop Georgia's run. Number two, they've got to figure a way to cover the tight ends, take the tight ends out of the game by using somebody other than a linebacker. And number three, they got to put pressure on the quarterback. And I think we do all those three things, then Alabama has a great defensive day against Georgia. And that might be a little innovative defensive set. In other words, you might think you're going to come out and run your base defense to stop the run, but in order to stop the run and take out the tight end crossing routes that Georgia does a great job of going to, then I think you may have to run one of your other defenses that may usually set up for passing, but also concentrate on stopping the run out of. So I think that's going to be a little different. I think you might see that. You might see Brian Branch on that tight end more like he was in the Auburn game.
Yeah, and I think that worked out well. We had a great game plan, and we've been able to be successful. Let's go ahead and get Gary from Ohio. Gary, you're on with DC Capstone Report and the Martin Hughes Show. What's on your mind, sir?
Hey, good morning, guys. How y'all doing?
Doing good.
A couple questions, and I hate to sound scattered.
That's okay.
One of them is, and I apologize in this first part of the show. First one is about recruiting. How are we doing with the defensive back out of California that decommitted from USC? And there's a defensive end from Arizona. And how are we doing with the Perry kid out of Montgomery, I think, a defensive tackle?
Mm-hmm.
How is that recruiting coming? And the other question is, I know we didn't play two people in the secondary. It was Malachi and kid out of Mobile. I can't think of his name. Were they just hurt, or did coach did they do something team violation or something was the reason why they didn't play? Or I know DJ the tackle was hurt, but I'm not so sure about the other guy. And that's it. Those are the two questions I have.
Okay. First of all, the kid from California, I can come in on him with a little more authority and let DC come in. Not familiar with the kid that you're talking about from Arizona, but I think it's a matter of time, and we'll verify with Hank South on Thursday. But we were sitting good with the kid from USC. I think USC may have created an opportunity with the coach they went with that may be of a big enough splash that he feels like he can win at USC now. So it'll be interesting to see if he goes back. The Perry kid, I think he's kind of a wait and see on from Alabama. Alabama's still on him and still would like to get him. And I think it really depends on how our defensive line, I think, continues to perform down the stretch. DC, you want to comment on the recruiting, and then we'll go to the injuries?
Yeah, I agree. I think Alabama's doing really well in recruiting right now. I think they've got a really good shot at the guy out of California. Maybe not so good about the guy out of Arizona. I think it's possible. But I think we're really doing really good on recruiting as far as satisfying some of the needs that we have.
What were you saying, Gary?
I think the kid's name in Arizona was Nami or something like that.
I don't follow recruiting as close. Well, we probably need to Pat to call us back, Gary. I usually let Hank keep me in the loop on it, and since we didn't have him last week, I may be about a week out. But I still feel good about the DB from California. Be kind of surprised, but with the coaching change, you never know. Then as far as injuries, I don't know about Malachi, but I heard that Jalen Armour Davis was hurt. He had something happen the week before, and I guess it just was aggravated. But as far as Malachi Moore, I didn't hear.
Yeah, I know Josh Jobe had a toe problem. But
I think he's playing with that toe problem.
Yeah, and I didn't hear anything about Jalen Armour Davis. He must have got hurt or something. Okay.
Yeah, I think he had a shoulder injury in one of the previous games that keeps aggravating him. And I also think Malachi Moore has had a nagging injury all year, coming off of his off-season surgery. He's had a nagging injury all year that inhibited him some. But I think also his play has not been up to the other players as well. So a lot of that had to do with his play. Just like Josh Jobe's play had to do with his, even though his toe was hurting him. I think we want to go with the players they thought were the hot players on the field.
Well, the defense is getting tuned up. I'm ready to see what we can do again. I don't know how we'd like to say maybe you guys are right. Maybe they're saving everything for Georgia. That's a surprise to them down the stretch. But we're getting whipped bad on the offensive line. It's supposed to be a good offensive line. Somebody just think, is this coach we got? Is he really teaching the fundamentals? But I had heard that Coach Saban offensive line principle was based off of he was an offensive lineman for Alabama a long time ago, and I think he's from West Virginia, and that he is the one that put the concept in for the offensive line that even though there's a new coach, that this old coach that still is the one that's guiding that offensive line. And I was wondering why
Joe Pentry?
All the years. What is it?
Is it Joe Pentry, I think is his name? Is that who you're talking about?
Pentry. Yeah, Pentry. Yeah, Joe Pentry is the one that using the offensive line concept and technique. And but why is that all the years that we've been there, we usually brought in the best, most athletic kids and play them first. And this year we're not playing them. I'm so confused about what we're trying to do.
Gary, I just wonder if it's because this guy doesn't develop players very well. He's an NFL guy. And when you get him at the NFL level, it's not as much development as it is just guiding them a lot of times. And maybe that's what's missing, because like you say, every year we've usually had one of those guys show up on campus, and that guy he steps out and he plays, and we have not seen that this year, and undoubtedly they're not even close. If you don't go to the guy after what you saw George do and you saw Owens do, you're not going to go to those guys. Thanks, appreciate it. Call back anytime, sir. Well, DC, we ran right on through that third quarter, right into the fourth quarter. Hey, man, tell me what you got for Saturday.
Well, we got Alabama winning the game. I think it's going to be a tough game, a little more high scoring than people think, and Alabama wins the game 35-31. I think Alabama goes out and plays well. You can check it out on the DC Capstone Report page or dccapstoneport.com and look at the new podcast. It's already up. All right, where can they follow you at? At David Cotton 50, and check out Lance's other site, OldTideBama.com or FreelancePictures.com. All right, that's DC Capstone Report. He got the Crimson Tide 35-31. Can they get it done? We'll continue to talk about it. Come back here tomorrow. We'll be here, same bat time, same bat channel. Remember this: trust in the Lord always. Lean not in your own understanding. All your ways acknowledge Him, and He will direct your paths. Thanks for all the callers, listeners, viewers, chatters, and guests. Roll Tide and have a blessed day, and we'll see you on tomorrow. Thanks, Mark. Roll Tide. Roll Tide.
Thank you for listening to the Martin Houston Show on your home for Alabama sports. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app. Tide 100.9 traffic.